Jesse McDougall here, The Martial Arts of Money, doing a book review on Forrest Griffin's book, ex-lightweight UFC champion. Has got fight. So Forrest is a very, very, very interesting man. He's one of the toughest men on the planet. That is not even negotiable. He's definitely in the 0.5% of hand-to-hand combat humans on the planet. So, step one, if you don't respect that, you're wrong. Something very primal about hand-to-hand combat with humans. It's part of our evolution, where we come from. So in my opinion, men like this, men such as I like to classify myself, in my opinion, taken very seriously. Cool thing about Forrest is his personality. He's got this laid back, joking, I don't care kind of attitude, but he's an absolute beast, like a beast. So I'll get right into it. So this book, I'm not going to say this book was like the greatest book ever written or anything, but the dude wrote a book. He's got his own book. I don't have my book, so I'm not going to bash him. Having said that, there's a lot of humor in it, the way his writing style that he wrote. A lot of stuff he says just totally out of left field. But I love it and I appreciate it because kind of way wears his heart into his sleeve, and he's a prime example of someone who's just himself and on his way. And there's a lot of value in the stuff he's saying as well, but he disguises a lot of his value with humor, which is cool too. So I'll just jump right into it, and I will be forewarned. Some of the stuff is quite vulgar, but it's funny, and you got to understand this from a male perspective. A lot of this stuff, so be warned. This isn't me. These aren't my words. These are his words. I'm just thinking the first paragraph. Okay. This is the first thing I highlighted in the book. He made this first test, to test your manliness, how much of a man you are. It gives you points based on your answers for how you classify as a man in his opinion. And this stuff's pretty funny, but there's also a lot of truth to it too at the same time. So if a real man slips in a pile of dog shit, rolls down a hill into a puddle of pig shit, claws his way out only to be shit on by a cow, he climbs to his feet with pride, sleeping with a fat chick and holding your head high is the same type of scenario. It requires balls of steel and an unbreakable sense of pride, earning you plus 10 hard-earned points of manliness. Subtract 5 points for the deed itself, and you end up with 0.5. I don't know, that's just kind of funny. I don't know why I highlighted that, because who writes that in a book? Forrest does. Okay, so this is under the physical chapter. I could see the fear growing in the eyes of my fellow football player wannabes. They weren't worried about this kid causing them damage with his fists. They were scared of his heart and soul. The kid really was prepared to die for the sake of his dignity. Unless they were willing to go to that end and actually kill this kid, they could not win this fight. And that's where the mind in martial arts and the mind in business, this is your strongest thing. If you ever see that movie Braveheart, William Wallace with his father, or his uncle, he's like, hey, I want to, fight with you. He's like, first you learn how to use this, then you'll learn how to use the sword, which is totally true. I didn't learn that, until I was 30. That's not true. I bounced them both. If an opponent lands 15 hard punches to your face and you smile as though you enjoyed the ride, it will fuck with his head. That's downright intimidating, because in order to stop him, you damn near have to kill him. And that comes out of the samurai philosophy, where samurai believes your soul lives on forever. So when it's your time to die, there's nothing scared about dying. Everybody's going to die. It's natural. It's a part of life. So you don't need to be scared of it. When it's your time to die, you greet it with honor and you fight it to the death. For me, if the Grim Reaper is going to take me, you're going to have to take me, dude, because I'm not leaving this world until I can't breathe my last breath. That's a samurai philosophy, which applies directly to fighting and business and just having the mental edge. I think it's a durability, toughness. How do you develop this kind of toughness? Great question. The answer is simple. Do things to make your body and your mind scream at you to quit, but don't. One of the biggest things that I'm an advocate for, as I joined the military, the Canadian Armed Forces, the infantry, when I was 17 years old till 21, and the stuff I learned there was interpersonal things were amazing. And I was doing cool shit like grenades, machine guns, rocket launchers, artillery, like rappelling off towers, jumping out of helicopters. Like this is cool stuff. I'm 17. I'm getting paid, so it's great. You prove to yourself that pain is just pain. You can walk away from it afterward, knowing that you surpassed a barrier that makes most humans curl in the fetal position and weep for Jesus. Pain is temporary. Pride is forever. It is also important not to do exercises where the pace isn't set. This mental toughness must be developed before you start fighting, because you don't want to be that guy who quits in the ring. That's unforgivable. It's true. It sucks. I have one fight where I lost, and I've lost, I think, 4 Muay Thai fights and 1 pro MMA fight, and only one of those losses I was actually ashamed. The other ones are just L's, just part of the game. You should take it like a man. But one of them, my head wasn't in it. My head was somewhere else. I had some female issues going on in my life, and just wasn't sure, going through that emotional depression state. And I was fighting a stud, and I just didn't have my stomach flex. He did a switch knee, boom, hit my stomach. It didn't even hurt. And like 3 seconds later, I'm down on my knee. Like I can't even stand up. I can't breathe. Like literally. Felt like such a pussy. But that's the game, man. Make sure your head is into whatever you're doing. You're all in or you're all out. I recommend not biting off more than you can chew right off the bat. Viewing your opponent's fight tapes are extremely important. You want to analyze them like a mathematician to see patterns. When done properly, it's not like buying a cheat guide to a video game. It allows you to see your opponent's strengths and weaknesses before you step in the ring. Planning to fail is failing to plan. Is that right? Planning to fail? No. Failure to plan is planning to fail? Yeah, like that. I think I might be dyslexic. Need to get that checked out. A fight will never go exactly as you planned. Your opponent will most likely have improved from his previous fight. If he's smart, he will have watched your fight tapes and then develop a game plan. To capitalize on your weaknesses, in order to win the fight, your game plan has to be stronger than your opponent's. Okay, so there's a lot of good stuff in here. I opened up with like a comedian rant, and Forrest is, like, what are you writing, dude, kind of thing. Like, no, there's like legit shit in here. And he's got a pretty amazing story as well. I just highlighted all the stuff that I took out for me that I value for my game. It's better to push yourself in training than in the weight room. You should get cardio through punching and grappling. I think you absolutely should have sex the night before weigh-ins. Anything that gets your heart going is good for fighting. Fighters are people who actually compete in real fights. Yep. You're not a fighter if you don't do fights. You're not a fighter if you do jiu-jitsu tournaments. You're not. You're a fighter if you go into the ring and you punch or kick someone in any area and you can rip off their limbs. I'm a jiu-jitsu practitioner forever, and when I go into a jiu-jitsu tournament, I don't consider it a fight. I mean, mentally it's a fight, but it's restricted combat. Would be cool. I think it was Vale Tudo where you basically do jiu-jitsu, but you have strikes. I fell in love with jiu-jitsu a few years ago. My professor was teaching the martial side of jiu-jitsu, and holy fuck, man, it's badass. Like the martial, like you're doing jiu-jitsu to like hurt, to kill every second chance you get. And that's what you're here to do. That's what martial arts is when I teach my courses or run classes. We're not here to make friends and this and that. We're here to, like, this is serious stuff. This is martial arts. So take this time to focus on destroying a human being, how to defend yourself, how to protect your family. Okay, get back to it. Going easy to avoid injuring your opponent is a good way to get your ass kicked. Okay, so I'm not going to read any more here, but this is a great book. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, but there was a part where I kind of wanted it to be over too. But it was also cool to see this guy's the guy's story. So he likes guns too. He's a pretty cool cat, man. Pretty cool cat. Oh, I did highlight something here. He's got some good instructional stuff too, as well, that I highlighted. Anyways, Forrest Griffin, Got Fight. Great book. Great book. Definitely good for if you're a fan favorite, like if you're one of his fans. You've probably read the book. Or if you're just an upcoming martial artist, you know, any chance you can read from a champion or a successful person, whatever they're into, man, if they take the time to write a book, heed the wisdom, pick up the pieces, formulate your own plan, formulate your own philosophy. Take care. Have a good day.